Let's Go 360 here, and today we got a real treat for everyone. We're going to be taking a look at a brand new 2021. It's a blue 765 LT, and today to show us the car is Michael, and I'm going to let him explain it.
Hey everybody. So this is the McLaren 765 LT, which is the track version of the 720S. They added more horsepower and took out a lot of the weight and made it a track-focused car. It looks somewhat similar to a 720, but starting at the front end has a longer front end and a lot more aero. Some of the features up here on the wheel arch, if you're familiar with the 911 GT3s, what that does is when the wheels are going at high speed, the air that it causes, it will get rid of the air and take it out of the hood. Of course, the eye sockets, which people did not like at the beginning of the 720, but everybody has fallen in love with, helps with the aerodynamics, cools down the car. And then also the aero, everything's active and works in this car. And then some of the aero features over here to split the air and take it away from the car. And of course, one of the features with the 720 is to cool down the engine. The doors are a split door, so the air will come inside, go all the way underneath, and then cool the engine. And if you haven't seen it from the other side, from this side, you can really appreciate the split door up here. You can see that it's actually a split door, so it's two sides of the door. And then if you want to get in there, you can see where the air will go actually into the engine. And then also some of the other aero features, even down here, will come down and cool the rear brakes. And coming to the rear, of course, it's an LT, which means long tail. So it's an active rear spoiler that is extended out longer. You do actually have a cutout, so you have some visibility when you're driving. The spoiler will dip down when you accelerate. When you brake, it'll go up, and so it's constantly moving. It's got the quad titanium exhaust.
I love the look of it compared to the 720, the four pipes on the back is beautiful.
And you can see they've done laser etching, so you can actually cools the engine down. You can't really see the engine, but it's buried in there. One of the features that to save weight, the entire rear is not glass, it's Lexan, so it's plastic.
Okay. So if you pop the hood, is the motor covered then by this back piece, kind of?
So this is all sealed, so only the mechanics can open this. So you can't,
pretty cool.
You can't access any of that. So everything's factory sealed. So there is an option to see the engine. I did not get it because it's a very expensive option that serves no purpose, but in the back they have a little cutout so you can see the engine if you opted that. And also there's the option for the snorkel system. Some of the 765s have the snorkel where the air intake will go. Doesn't really add any performance, just works.
Yes. It's beautiful. And because we talked about with the MSO, so what all did you have with the MSO?
Yeah, so this is a Mso Paint. It's a Burton blue paint. Unfortunately, it's not very sunny out right now, but if it was sunny, it's a highly metallic. It's got a lot of fleck in it, so it's one of their unique color paints. Also, I did all carbon on the inside, so did the MSO carbon fiber sills and the Senna seats. These are the racing seats that are named after Senna, the famous race car driver. And then with this, they have exposed carbon, so you can see the floor of the car is carbon, the sides, everything is visual carbon fiber. And one of the interesting things are these little components here are actually carbon fiber. They just paint them palladium. There's an upcharge if you want it visual, but they're already carbon fiber. And if you want to get the plate, this is number 350 of 765.
Oh, wow.
color. From what I understand, there's one in the United States and one in the UK. There could be others, but that's all I've been able to find thus far.
That is amazing.
Get some shots with both doors up.
I'd imagine your storage it's kind of funny with these exotic cars. It seems that how they do the whole thing with storage is if you can fit a golf bag accordingly, then I guess that's as much storage as you need.
Yeah, there's very little storage, so it was actually an option to get these in little storage pockets. So that was a upgraded option you had to pay for to give you some storage there.
Oh, wow.
So you have storage there, and then of course you have storage in the front area, but very little. You could not fit golf bags
No.
in there, so that's your storage in the front.
Yeah, it's one thing. I guess then again, when you got all those racetrack seats and the sports seats.
And this car is designed for the track. It's not a car you could daily drive. It is not the most comfortable driving sitting in traffic, but it is outrageous on the track.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely beautiful.
Right? You want to go for a spin?
Yeah, you can go ahead and fire it up. Now join you in. Beautiful sound. So is the interior pretty much just like how the 720 was as far as all your different options to switch from like track mode?
Yep, everything's the same. It's still got once you go to the active feature here, then you've got comfort, sport, track, and it's got the folding display. So if you go into track mode, it'll fold down display. The purpose of that is when you're on the track, so you have a complete view of the track, so this will come out of your way. You can still see your RPM and your speed and what gear you're in. So you can fold it in any of the display. So if you go here, if you wanted to fold it in sport mode, you can of course fold it in sport mode. And the display changes also. You notice the electronic. So you go to, it'll change the display.
That's cool.
So you've got your handling mode, and then you've got your powertrain mode. So those are the two things. Your start, stop, so that changes the active. The arrow, if you want to move the tail down. I don't know if you can see the back there, but you have very little visibility from the back with that thing up. And when you hit the brakes, you have no visibility whatsoever. So, and then your launch feature, your hazards, park, neutral, reverse, or drive, neutral, reverse. Park, you just shut off the car, the start, stop, and it will go right into park. And then you have your paddles up here. They have the 765, they gave you the extended paddles. You can go into manual mode if you want, and make it an automatic. But it automatically shifts up to 7th gear instantly, takes all the fun out of the car.
This is a 7-speed transmission?
Yes.
Dual clutch, I imagine?
Yep. So it is blazingly fast shifting. So, and it's not, because it's a track car, there's no sound insulation, and so it's very loud. As you can hear, you hear every rock, pebble out there. One of the things, the features, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's blue, black, and then the doors have the mixture of the blue and the black to match the outside.
That's awesome.
So, and the seats are just paper thin, carbon fiber. One important thing when you get this car, which you learn in the very first day, is do not put your cell phone in between, because if you notice there's a big hole there and it goes right underneath. So very important. Day one you learn that lesson and you don't make that mistake again.
Your cup holder is not very accessible.
No, so it's not a car you should be taking a drink out on.
Do you know if McLaren, do they have a heads-up display for any of their cars?
I think, I'm not sure on the new Artura if they're going to, because that is supposed to be their everyday car.
Okay.
But in all their race cars, no heads-up display.
Okay. Try to keep it off your carbon here. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely everything is carbon fiber.
Yes. Yeah, and one of the things, you can see the frame right there is carbon fiber, so...
Oh, that's awesome.
In the seats, once you're in, you're not going anywhere. So they are made for the track.
And what are the numbers for this car on the track? Like, what's its horsepower, torque, and
So
0 to...
horsepower is 755, but McLaren always underestimates their horsepower. It's been dynoed by a bunch of people, and it actually pushes out 880 horsepower and weighs right at 2,900 pounds. So 0 to 60, I know Brooks from Drax Times has done 0 to 60 in 2.3, 2.1. He's done the quarter mile in, I think, 9.1 at 151 miles per hour on prep track with our 888 tires. So it has been pretty insane. As you can tell, it's loud.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
Which I love. My wife hates sound, so she would hate. She wants a Tesla and it's all quiet. I like the engine. I want to hear.
once it warms up, you'll start hearing the burbles and the crackles, and it will backfire once you get going. Once the exhaust warms up a little bit.
I'd imagine you also hear the turbos
Yes.
whine. The 720, like, how big of a difference is this car from that 720 compared?
So when this came out, I didn't really know how big of a difference it was going to be. It is insanely different. They basically took a 720, turned it up to 11. It's a 720 on steroids, so it is everything about this car is faster acceleration, handling, braking, everything. So as quick as the 720 is, this car is night and day. That was good.
Understand why these seats hug so well, because when you're turning, it's nice to know you're not going to fall out of them.
And, I'll give you a little warning up here. I'll show you the brakes in a second. It's always nice to give you a warning.
Oh, wow.
tail goes up, so it stops you.
I know they were talking about with the 720, it had the shortest stopping distance from like 100 to 0 than any car for the most part.
Yeah.
And if this is even shorter than that, that's...
Yeah, the brakes are larger and everything is crazy on this one. So hopefully I didn't make you too sick there.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Right.
I...
Go full launch mode. That's without launch mode.
Sure, it's still...
And it was struggling for traction, so it was spinning the tires there.
When you put it into actual track mode, it takes just a second to get everything all set up correctly.
Yeah.
Kind of like on the 720.
Yeah, but in track mode, you can go into track mode and turn off the one thing I'll show you that's neat that this car has is if you're out on the track, this thing will have drift mode.
Oh, wow.
So drift mode is, hold on, let's go here. Drift mode available, activate. We're not going to do it, but if you go to drift mode, you can actually set the drift angle. So when you see like the movie Tokyo Drift and people that do drifting, you can actually set your drift mode and you can do what percentage you want, and then it'll actually slide the car out to just the amount of angle that you want.
That's cool.
So that's drift mode on the car. So that's because they know people are going to be out on the track. And then you have the track telemetry, so it'll tell you everything. You can put in your name, your weather, and you can do, and it'll time your tracks, your laps, and everything. And it'll give you a comparison for track telemetry.
That's really cool.
So that will show you your G-force and your angle. So and you can see. This curve here with the G's. Staying at the speed limit.
Oh, yeah, it gets right to the speed limit nicely and
Yep.
things right there with it. It's... What a car.
It is a special car.
I'd be just doing circles. On ramp, off ramp, on ramp, off ramp.
It is. This car has a lot more that I'm capable of driving. So I've done a lot of racing, and this car can far exceed my capabilities.
So now you mentioned you had the 488, the Pista. But the Pista, that's kind of more competition for the 720.
Yeah, the Pista was in line with the 720, and the McLaren came out this, and I've had them both. This thing is by far faster in every way. Now, Ferrari's special. Ferrari has the heritage. One of the special things with Ferrari, McLaren hasn't done this, but Formula One steering wheel that everything's on it, the huge tack right staring you in your face, the analog tack. Ferrari, there's something special about Ferraris.
Yeah, with the SF90, they put the tack in the steering wheel, which was really cool.
Yep. See, one of the things that we're losing is with the SF90 hybrids, it's now digital display.
Yeah, everything, even this.
So one of the amazing things with Ferrari, you still have that huge analog display just staring you in the face, and they've now gone digital. But unfortunately, as we lose internal combustion engines and go to hybrids, I think that'll be what we're having.
I feel like everything's going now more digital. You know, I mean, it's cool, but I like the look of the old. Track times, as awesome as the SF90 is, with almost 1,000 horsepower, 3 electric motors, twin turbo V8, this car's 0 to 60 performance is actually better than that Ferrari's for less of the price.
Yeah, I think the SF90 Brooks track time actually just got his, so he's going to be comparing them. So we'll see. So I think they'll get faster quarter mile times in 0 to 60 with the SF90. But along with any hybrid system, once those batteries deplete, there goes your performance. But with a fresh, fully charged battery, I think the SF90 is going to outdo this car. It's going to be interesting to see.
I mean, and the other thing we're talking about is, in track, or just when you start going from launch, the tires here are you'll lose a little bit of traction. Whereas the SF90s with the hybrids, they don't. They just purely explode.
Yep.
It's instant torque.
Yeah, and then the Tesla Plaid is insane.
And what's your fuel economy?
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
So we were averaging 7.2 miles per gallon. So if you're on it hard, it's about 5 miles per gallon. If you're not on it hard, if you drive somewhat sensible, maybe 12 miles per gallon. Yeah, so that was 7 miles per gallon. So you will literally, we started with a full tank, and we've already, if you can capture that, we've already ticked down some of the fuel just from that little run there. Yeah, so when you're on it hard, you will actually see the gas gauge going down as you're accelerating. So
yeah,
it's you can't complain about the miles per gallon.
Yeah, when you buy a car like this, it's going to be, I mean, that's why it's kind of funny how everybody wants fuel economy, but they also want performance, and it's kind of really hard to give people both.
Yep.
The Teslas are doing a good job. The Taycan is insane as well from Porsche. But yeah, the Turo will be interesting. I know it's got 3 electric motors. I think the salesman was mentioning that they're possibly considering putting a 4th electric motor into the Turo and making it actually faster than the 720 with a V6.
Right.
Which would be pretty crazy.
Yep. The technology, there's still a big weight disadvantage to the hybrid because you have the batteries.
Yeah.
But that technology, I mean, I think the 765 and the F8 are the last of the internal combustion engines. So I think we're kind of seeing the technology is getting there where everything will be hybrids, and then the performance will be on level with these in a few years. But it'll be sad to see pure ICEs going away.
I love these doors.
Yeah, the dihedral doors are great.
It's so easy to get in and out of.
Yes, you don't bang your head. So I had a SLS, a Mercedes SLS AMG, and I used to bang my head on the door every time I used to get in it. So these actually are good. You just kind of have to
climb out of it, but figure out how to do that.
Yes. So the tail's down now. So you came out of it, so now you can see the long tail actually down.
There you have the 765 LT. Man, what a ride. What a car. I want to thank Michael for giving us the chance to go for a ride and learn more about it.